Guys, chess history has just been made. The famous League of Legends streamer TYLER1 9 months ago had a chess rating of just 200. He started casually playing some chess. But today he has reached 1900 rapid ELO rating on chess.com, which is top 1% in the world. In just 9 months, TYLER1 went from being a complete noob, blundering pieces left and right and losing to just beginners without a fight. He went to top 1% in the world. This is crazy. This is amazing. And I think that probably most of you are rated lower than him, although probably many of you have started working on your chess before this guy. So we all have to learn from him. This is one of the most impressive stories of chess improvement. Let's take a look at some of his games and find his secret sauce, secret recipe, together with my kitten who has come to join me today. His name is Kulibiaka. Drop a like if you like my kitten. I also have 2 dogs and 2 more cats, by the way. You can find them in other pieces of my content. Game 1 is the game with which Big Tonka T, this is the username of TYLER1 on chess.com, with which he breached the 1900 rating. And let's take a look at this. D3, ouch, don't buy me. So this is the cow opening. It's a funny meme opening popularized by Anna Kremlin, a famous chess streamer. And it's a bad one. Actually, if black knows how to punish it, black can get an advantage. But obviously, black should play in the most principled way. For example, black should play e5, not e6. And after this, black can play c5 or knight f6, for example. And if knight goes here, then black has h5, h4. So this would be the most principled way to play against this. But black didn't do this. So the position white got around here is pretty much equal. So what can we learn from this? We can learn from this that on most levels, for beginners, openings do not matter too much in chess. What matters are different things, such as tactical vision, pattern recognition, proper time management. We will find all of those things in this game and in the other game that I will show you. Okay, castles, nothing too crazy. c4, finally white breaks in the center, attacking the d5 pawn, but the computer is not too impressed, saying that black is still a little bit better because the cow opening is not a good one. The knight on g3 is not well positioned. It doesn't have any squares to go to. All the squares that it has are either protected by enemy pawns or pieces, and or they are taken by its own pieces. So a knight is positioned nicely when it has some targets. It's attacking something, or it can join a nice outpost. Here it cannot. So, okay, the sides both continue development, but you can notice one thing that TYLER1, Big Tonka T, is doing absolutely right. You see the time usage. 9:39, they are playing a 10-minute game without increment. His opponent has spent already 2 minutes. More than 2 minutes. Big Tonka T spent just 20 seconds. So he's playing fast, and time management will play a role in this game, you will see. And basically, you shouldn't spend too much time when you play an opening that is obviously, well, not good for your opponent. You shouldn't try to refute it immediately, disprove, calculate all the variations. If you're 18 or 1900, you will probably not refute it. You will not checkmate the opponent out of the opening, but you will spend precious time that will play a role later. So let's see how it played a role here. So d4, black attacks in the center, advances, opens up this diagonal for the bishop. Quite a sensible decision. Black is not better. The computer says it's around equal, but a little bit better now after e4. The best move for white was taken, but TYLER reacted with e4. Also logical, in some future, white may go f4 and e5 probably with a fork. So knight e5, and actually this is exactly the moment where white had to go f4. TYLER1 missed this, but had he gone for this, if the knight retreats, then e5 is very strong. Black has to sacrifice a piece for 2 pawns. Actually, because of those two powerful bishops, iron white's king, it's not terrible. Actually, chess.com is glitching here. The evaluation bar for some reason is glitching. It's lower than it should have been, but it's plus 0.63. So black has some compensation. This bishop is stupid. Iron its own pawns, but still a piece is a piece. So white could have done this. F4 would be a great move, but okay, Tyler just develops the knight, wants to exchange it. Black doesn't exchange. And here, TYLER1 spots a tactic. You see, this knight is protected by its colleague, but it's just one defender, whereas white has 2 attackers of this knight, a bishop and a queen. And knight takes d4 is a discovered attack on this knight. And if black takes, white takes, and white just wins a pawn. So TYLER1 has found a nice tactic. Here he started thinking, calculated it for, you can see, 30 seconds. Around 30 seconds spent on such an important move is a good decision, good time management. While his opponent has just 5 minutes already, so he spent, or she spent, half of his or her time. And it's still far from over. It's not even endgame, so poor time management by TYLER1's opponent. Maybe the opponent was afraid of this powerful streamer. Maybe they knew whom they were facing, and that's why they spent too much time, but they shouldn't have. So knight d4 is a good move, and finding it requires good tactical vision. Do you know how good TYLER1's tactical vision is? If you go visit his profile on chess.com and look at his puzzle rating, you will see that his puzzle rating, let me check it. His puzzle rating is 3,500. 3,538. His puzzle rating is a little bit higher than my puzzle rating, and I'm a candidate master, and my rapid rating is 2,250. So TYLER1 has done a lot of work solving puzzles, working on his tactical vision, and this has paid off in this game. Knight takes d4. Many of you would have neglected this opportunity, but he didn't. His opponent admittedly also decided to think here and find a tactical solution, a desperado. If your piece will get taken anyways, you can sacrifice it for a pawn, winning at least a pawn, which is the best move in this position. So knight takes. Here, also TYLER1 did not take immediately, but he initiated a tactical sequence. Here it was not the best one, but kudos to him for doing this, because it started an interesting tactical bloodbath. So knight b5 attacks the queen. So in this position, knight takes f2 attacks white's queen. But white decides, you know what, I don't have to retreat with my queen, I can attack his queen. And actually it's not the best move, but it's not the worst one. So here they exchanged some pieces, and black emerged up a little bit in material, because black has 2 pieces for a rook. But this knight is stranded. It will get taken soon, because rook a2 attacks it, and it has no moves. It has been stranded in the enemy territory, and now it will get taken. Yes, you can defend it with your bishop, but then comes rook b1, and it will get taken very soon. Here, the computer finds an amazing resource that I would have never found, and Tyler's opponent also didn't find it. He just went rook d8 and allowed this horse to be captured, and now material is back to equal. But the resource that his opponent had was a sacrifice. Knight take d3. Bishop takes. Now white is up material, but the position is horrible. Knight g4. Now this knight cannot move, because this knight, if it moves, then this pawn will get taken. Also, white cannot really do anything with its rooks. There are no good squares for the rooks. And black's plan is very obvious. So king h1, h5. Rook e2, this is the top engine choice for white, h4. And white is on the brink of collapse, because if the knight retreats, there is bishop d4. This unopposed dark squared bishop is so powerful. And now knight f2 check is threatened. And you can go h3, for example. And knight f2 check. If you go king h2, then you lose the bishop. So you probably have to give up an exchange, and now black is up material. So there were better ways to protect here. For example, this is a fork, so you have to maybe retreat the bishop, but then knight f2 again. If you go king g1, then knight takes e4 is a discovered check. And if you go here, then knight c3 is a fork. So this is annoying. This would be very good for black, but sacrificing a knight in this way, I don't think that many grandmasters would have found this. So it's understandable that black didn't do this. So now a series of exchanges, and we have the following position. Black has a rook, a bishop, and a knight, and white has a rook, a bishop, and a knight, and an equal amount of pawns. So it should be a draw, right? Not really, because this pawn is a backwards pawn. It will not march forward because otherwise it will get taken. This bishop is not good. It's facing its own pawns. Yes, this bishop is also facing opponent's pawns, but at least you can see that this bishop has 1, 2, 3 squares it's looking at. This bishop here doesn't have any squares it's looking at. Here also 1, 2, 3, but 2 of those squares are covered by enemy's knight. So the quality of pieces is different. This rook is powerful. This rook is looking in its own territory and just walking around with an ankle bracelet, not allowed to walk further than 50 meters from its homestead. So yeah, knight d7, interesting maneuver. So TYLER is worse, but the fight continues. And you should pay attention to the time also here. Here he has 7.5 minutes. His opponent has 2.5 minutes. So time management is catastrophic for black. Only 21 moves have been made. So it's not the end of the game, but already black is in serious time trouble. King marches forward. Now TYLER shows that he knows the endgame principles. In endgames, your pieces should be activated, especially the king. The king should join the action. So knight jumps in, attacking this pawn, but now king e3 defends it. So the king was in time to protect the pawn. Now the position is around equal, according to chess.com. Again, don't pay attention to the height of this thermometer. It should be around here. It's a glitch on chess.com. I don't know why. So g6, logical move, restricting the bishop, making some loft for this king to join the action. b4. Now TYLER1 initiates some play of his own. This rook used to stand just eyeing its own pawn. Now it will be liberated, finally. It's a great move, shows understanding. f5, black tries to initiate something on the other side of the board, but white takes. And now rook b5. Rook is looking hungry. It wants revenge for all those years of humiliation, having stood idly on the back ranks for so long, doing nothing. This rook was suffering, and now it's finally free and it's hungry. So it wants to take the pawn. And you see that TYLER's opponent has just 1 minute 44 seconds, which is not much in such an endgame. So on time, TYLER is doing great. On the board, he's also doing great. Now his rook is active, and the computer says it's still equal, but white is asking uncomfortable questions. The best move here for black is rook c8, but then white can go rook a5, attacking both of those pawns at the same time. And the rook has to go rook c7, defending those 2 pawns. And in some future, the king can infiltrate, for example, or d4 can be played. So it's an interesting position. But the sides do not go for this. Probably time pressure is felt already in this position. Instead of protecting the pawn with the rook, black makes another move, which is h5. I don't know why. This move should have been made long ago in the opening, as I told you, because when the knight maneuvers to e2 and g3, h5, h4 is a nice way to kick it away. But it's too late now, because black is down a pawn, and black has just 45 seconds. No way black has the ability to hold this. Knight c6, retreats. TYLER just takes, and now he has 2 passed pawns, connected passed pawns, which will be able to march and queen very soon. But first, he finally activates his bishop. Again, great understanding of the position. Look at this position. Yes, you could start immediately trying to rush and pushing the pawns, but then your pawn will just get taken because the rook protects the square. So you should think about activating your pieces. During almost any part of the game, this is a good idea. If your piece is bad, and this piece is definitely bad, this bishop is looking at thin air, you should activate it. You should put the bishop on the longest diagonal possible. And now it attacks the knight. It can check the enemy's king, and it has some space. And also this square is now available for the knight to then push d4. So great chess understanding by TYLER. Rook d6 defends the knight, but already the position is bad. Already it's lost. And especially considering the time factor. Black has just half a minute. So bishop d5 is a check. Then knight f2 rotates to protect here. King joins the action, but it's too late. So black has just 10 seconds. There is no increment, so no way black is holding this. Knight d4 is a mistake. Here white forgets about some tactics by black, but it doesn't matter. But here TYLER doesn't retreat to f2. He doesn't need to make the best moves. He will definitely win on time, no matter what. So he takes the pawn. He allows black to grab his knight with a check, and now black has a winning position, but black runs out of time. And TYLER1 breaches the 1900 threshold. We're talking about the rapid rating, not bullet or blitz. So rapid is almost classical chess. So this shows his skill. I think he's quite skilled even in classical now. I don't think he's played any tournaments, but if he tried to play any tournaments, he would do quite well, probably scoring a FIDE rating of around 1500, maybe even higher. So much respect to TYLER. Let's take a look at his other victory, a very impressive one that will teach you many things. So this is the game that he played against a 2100 rated player, 2139. So this is very decent level, already close to candidate masters, FIDE masters. Some title players have ratings similar to this. I've even played a grandmaster once who was rated around 2200 on chess.com. Actually, I managed to get a win against him 2 times. You should check out the games in the video. I've made it on my channel, so check it out. And don't forget to subscribe. Okay, let's go. Big Tonka T. Again, TYLER is playing with the white pieces, and he opens up with the same opening. But here, the opponent knows what to do and strikes with h5. Remember, I told you that this is the way to play against the cow. You should create problems for your opponent. You should try to punish this opening if you are a strong player. If you are not a strong player, you should not waste too much time trying to punish and refute the opening. But if you are strong, you can try. So h5 is a great move. Now black is better, minus 0.6 almost, according to the computer. h4 is the move played by white, trying to disallow h4, but this weakens this knight, this weakens the king. So this square now will never get protected by h3, so g4 square is up for grabs for black. e5, taking the center, bishop e2, g6, overprotecting the h5 pawn, which is logical. e4, white strikes in the center, but just bishop e6, and black is comfortably better. Bishop f3, against this maneuver, TYLER quite likes putting his bishop on the long diagonal, and it's a good one. Bishop h6, black also develops. Knight goes to b3, a typical cow maneuver. Again, it will be wise to go b6 and a5 and a4 in some future, but first of all you have to deal with this bishop. So it gets exchanged, queen b6, a normal move, and queen g5. TYLER infiltrates with his queen and poses an important question. Where will this knight go? Knight h7 kicks out this queen. Queen goes to h6, trying to infiltrate. Again, TYLER is playing really fast. He has spent just 1 minute, whereas his opponent spent already 2.5 minutes. But here the gap in time spent is not as huge. d4. lock in the position. It's a good positional move because when you look at this position, you can think, what does my opponent want? My opponent wants to activate this dead bishop because this bishop is doing nothing. So e takes d5 would be a move that is desired by white. Also, that would be a fork. So you have to do something with it, and d4 is a top engine choice. So now this bishop is locked and it cannot join the action, whereas this bishop is looking at this knight and has joined the action. Black is better. a3, not the best move, but it's a provocation. You provoke black into taking this pawn to probably later attack black on this side of the board, because black won't probably castle this way, black may castle this way, but then black will get attacked with the rooks. And if this pawn gets taken, then this rook joins the action. So it's a provocation. TYLER1 seems to like them. a5. Black responds in a principled way, trying to kick this knight with a4 and then take the b2 pawn. Black doesn't want to trade here, although it would be also okay. Okay, white castles, a4, knight retreats, and black castles. Black doesn't want to take this pawn now because that would be met by rook a b1, for example. And if you take this pawn, then rook takes b7, and then in some future maybe this queen may get trapped. Even it doesn't have too many squares because this is cut off by the rook. It only has one square, the a2 square. So it's not the best decision. This pawn is often called a poisoned pawn. You shouldn't take it often. Okay, castle on, knight c4 attacking the queen. Here an exchange follows, and black decides to get greedy. Black decides, you know what, now I'm not losing the queen. If you go rook b1, I can go queen c3, for example, and then rotate this way. And this pawn on b7 is protected by my king. So there's nothing too dangerous for me. And I'm 2100 rated, and my opponent is just 1787. So it's a big rating gap. But sometimes appearances can be deceitful. So queen takes b2, no, not rook b1. I thought he would go rook b1, but he infiltrated with the queen. He wants to initiate something over here. Interesting choice. Okay, rook protects. Now knight takes h5. Here, probably TYLER realized that the game is slipping away from him. But he decided, you know what, I'll go for some complications. I'll sacrifice a piece, but I'll create some chaos on the board because I'm rated 3500 in puzzles. I know some things about tactics. And objectively, this is a bad decision. He's -2. So black is up 2 points of material according to the computer and practically winning. But this is objectively. When computers play, this position is winning for black. When humans play, anything can happen. This knight is not too impressive, stranded on this side of the board. These rooks are both serving some defensive roles, but not attacking anything. Whereas white can attack with rook b1, for example, eyeing this king, and it could get dangerous. So okay, the knight is taken, the bishop takes, queen goes to c2, taking another pawn. Not a good choice. I think here you shouldn't be too greedy. You should try to disallow any counterplay for white. But black allowed the counterplay, and the counterplay arrived. Bishop takes f7. Now this bishop is very menacing. It can go here, it can go here, it can pressure the enemy's position. It also disallows any of the rooks to go to g8 and to e8. A great piece. White has some compensation for the sacrificed piece. This knight again is clumsy, so it's not as easy to win this. Queen takes e4, and now black gets too greedy, for which it pays a lofty price. A hefty price, a lofty price, how do you say it? I'm not a native speaker, so sorry about my language. So this is losing, actually. Although black is up material, the computer says it's losing, and TYLER1 has done his homework, his puzzles, and he knows how to win such positions. So he gives a check. The first move, very correct. You should always look for checks, captures, and threats. You probably know that. So the king retreats, and now rook b1. Checkmate in 1 is threatened. And it's not as easy as you may think to defend this, because there is no piece that can defend. Maybe only the knight. Knight e5, for example, or knight d8. That's the only way to defend. The queen also defends this, but not for long, because here bishop d5 is unleashed. And TYLER1's opponent resigns the game because he can do nothing. When the queen retreats, for example, queen c2, then rook takes b7. Yes, you can take with a knight, but then queen takes b7 is checkmate. So brilliant tactical find by TYLER1. Here, black has to give up the queen, but it will be over very soon. White is up a queen. Great tactical vision, great time management skills. Again, here at the end, TYLER1 has still half of his time, 5 minutes almost, whereas his opponent has 2.5 minutes. So TYLER1 is playing fast. TYLER1 is playing an opening that he is comfortable with. He obviously plays not the most optimal opening. The cow opening isn't one, but as Daniel Naroditsky said in the podcast episode with me, you should check it out. Link is in the description as always. You should use openings for your blitz that you are comfortable with, that allow you to play fast and to utilize your strengths. And probably this opening works out for TYLER because the results speak for themselves, as they say. So I think it's a great choice. He doesn't have to spend too much time learning the theory, because nobody knows the theory in the cow opening. So on your level, if you are a club level player or if you're just a beginner, you might look at maybe not the cow opening, other weird openings that you will master, play many games in them and get the feel of it, get the knack of it. And that might be a good strategy for you. So congrats to TYLER. I will be following his chess career. Maybe I should invite him to a podcast. Do you think so? Drop a comment and see you in the next one.